Happy 6-month anniversary, Nintendo Switch. We've reached September 3rd, and that means 6 months since March 3rd. The Switch has come a long way since then. A whole lot of games, a whole lot of sales, and maybe still some room to grow. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switchforce. Jake and Gabe are here, and we're ready to give you our 6-month review and retrospective of how we have enjoyed the Switch, how we think the Switch is doing, and what we want from it going forward.
It's been a good 6 months, hasn't it? A lot of good games that we're not going to get into details of like all the games. You guys know what they all are. Zelda, Splatoon, things of that nature. So really good 6 months for Nintendo first party in general. But this video is going to be more like a personal one about each of us and our experiences with the Switch.
Yeah, so we'll start off just going through kind of some of our favorite memories, how we use the Switch, how we feel personally it has incorporated into our lives, and if that's what we wanted a success, and then kind of the second half of the video will be more about what we'd like to see for the next 6 months. I think it's safe to say there's been a lot of quality games. There's been really good sales. In general, Nintendo has done much right. They've made some definite mistakes. There's the online voice chat debacle. There's the SD card thing that could eventually become a bigger issue. They got sued in a very strange turn of events that didn't really amount to anything. They had a really good E3 and awesome showing of indies at PAX West, and now here we are. So, Gabe, why don't you kick us off with some of your Switch nostalgia?
Well, I kind of love the way that the Switch has just been like incorporated into my life. My life has turned into a Nintendo commercial. When I have to fly for like events and stuff, I'm in a small town, so getting back home sometimes is a problem. There's limited flights and things of that nature. So this last time I had to be at an airport for 6 hours. Waiting for my flight, and I had nothing else to do because I was in a city that is not my city. I had nowhere to go. I didn't have a hotel room anymore, so I found myself just sitting there playing Splatoon. Just connected the Switch to my hotspot on my phone, played some Splatoon online. Sonic Mania at the time had just come out, so I played a few levels of that, and I played it like on an airplane, and playing with strangers, which is something that I have totally done. I play basketball every day, and when I head to the park, sometimes I'm the first person there because I like shooting around a little bit before, and kids would be like walking around the park and I'd be like, oh cool, like they see me playing and they say, oh my god, can I try it? And you let them try it, and just to see their reaction. So like the Switch in general is a resounding success just for me personally. I've said this before, but I primarily play games on PC. That's my preferred way of playing. Console wise, I play the Switch now more than I do my PS4 and my Xbox One, like by not even a close margin. So for me, it's fit into just my everyday existence pretty well, and I'm happy with the games, and hopefully we get to see more cool stuff soon.
Yeah, I think that you are probably like you said, sort of like the best test case for the Switch working its wonderful hybrid magic. Jake, how about you?
I have a couple of stories. I really actually like the Nintendo Switch Elite Player backpack. I made a video on it a long time ago, but I actually use it a lot as just a backpack for carrying stuff around, but also to transport my Switch and kind of take it with me, because the backpack can also carry my laptop and things. So from like transferring my laptop to and from home, like recording stuff, I can fit my Switch and my laptop and everything in there, all the cords, the dock, the controllers. So that's a really cool accessory that I really like. I played the Switch at E3 while standing in lines for like Mario Odyssey, which was a pretty cool experience. And listening to people talk about, oh, I can't wait to get a Switch, because back then they were still super hard to get. And I was like, I have mine. And I was just standing in line waiting to play Mario Odyssey or Splatoon or different things like that. And playing Breath of the Wild or Mario Kart, different stuff like that. Was a cool experience. I also just like how small and light it is and easy to transport it is. I had an experience where we had extended family over, and I brought my Switch over to the house and set it up within a couple minutes and played Jackbox party games without having to like lug a whole PS4 or Xbox with me. I could just throw the Switch and the dock and a couple cords in a bag and take it with me. So a lot of just little cool things that you can only get with the Switch, and kind of only experience with the small size of it, the lightweight nature of it, and the hybrid nature of it. I think is really cool how it does just kind of like at first like, oh my god, this is so cool and so weird and so different, but then it kind of just feels normal and you're like, yeah, this is a really cool system that I can take anywhere and play anywhere, even at E3 in lines.
Yeah, it really has come, everything that they set out to do, I feel, has like come into fruition. I will say that for myself, I don't find that I use it as portably as much as I'd like, which is a bit of a bummer, but I think it probably speaks more to my lifestyle requiring so many more gaming consoles. I definitely do notice, though, that the Switch is like the one I want to be playing the most. I wish every game was on the Switch, and that speaks volumes to just how, for me, comfortable the Pro Controller is, for me, how quick and speedy the system is, for me, how nice and compact it is to travel with, and for me, how much dang fun I have getting custom Joy-Con. I mean, that's been possibly one of my favorite parts, is just the ability to make this thing look so cool. And I know that's maybe just for a lot of people not even a relevant point, but I've always been a huge fan of controllers, a huge fan of custom looks, and it's just kind of like a weird aspect of the Switch that I've really fallen in love with, is the different kind of Joy-Con, is the different control schemes, is the versatility. And I know that's something that early on we were like, oh, how's this going to pan out, how the controllers... I am now so inundated with Switch that I don't really care. Joy-Con, Pro Controller, they don't bother me anymore. I mean, the Pro Controller is freaking phenomenal. But I have found that it has replaced my phone and my Vita for when I do have portable play. Even smaller titles like Goner, I've had a really great experience with. I wouldn't even call that one of my favorite games of the year, but it's so fun to be sitting in the car waiting to pick up my brother, or to be on an airplane burning through the last hour of the flight and just get some good gaming on a sizable screen with really good controls and a pretty solid library. I mean, I think now if I look at my Switch, it's holding 40 games, 40 games, something like that, which is crazy. Now, not all of them are winners, but definitely Splatoon 2, Zelda Breath of the Wild, ARMS, like I mentioned, Goner, Mr. Shifty, Graceful Explosion Machine. There are things that will... Sonic Mania.
I gotta give Sonic some love, man, because I wasn't so high on Sonic in the past, and gotta take the chance.
They're definitely things that will be a top or part of my top 10 games of the year list, and I feel like some interesting things for me are, one, how little I've ended up playing Mario Kart. I figured I would play more of that, but I think the double dip nature, since I played so much of it on Wii U, kind of did come to bite me, and that I kind of just was over it. I really like what Jake said. I think, having a lot more of those multiplayer titles is great, and for me, like, as many good games have come out, the next couple months are so freaking exciting with things like SteamWorld Dig 2, obviously Super Mario Odyssey, Golf Story. I mean, there's like a lot of really awesome titles and a lot of brand new stuff, right? We've seen, Mario Kart. We've had the, I guess upcoming, but Pokken Tournament. But like, I'm pumped for Fire Emblem Warriors. I'm pumped for Super Mario Odyssey. I'm pumped to finally get our third-party fill with NBA and FIFA.
And Skyrim.
And Skyrim, I feel like it's done so well for an early period. Most consoles really don't have a lot to offer the first 6 months. And, Nintendo has missed out on some online. There's definitely the huge missing of that is Virtual Console. I thought for sure we'd have it by now. I really would love to be playing Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, things of that nature on my Switch. But all in all, like, I know it's like just redundant at this point, but it's a very successful, very fun system.
Yeah, and then now Nintendo make more of them.
Yeah, it is getting easier.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is. You can pre-order. You were able to pre-order bundles with Mario plus Rabbids this weekend. That's another thing. Like, that game, I love that game. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle was a genuine surprise. A game that no one really expected to be as good as it is. A lot of people say, "Oh, this game is has no right to be this good." But the Rabbids being that silly, it led to everybody lowering their expectations. And I was genuinely surprised how much I love that game. It's a fantastic little game that I think everyone should play. So the Switch is delivering so far, and it's good to see Nintendo winning again, because for a long time they weren't. And even
Absolutely.
yeah, with the Wii, yeah, like they sold a lot, but nobody was really happy with the games. Although Nintendo first party was always like really good, but Wii getting a lot of shovelware, and then the Wii U basically being like dead, and like nobody wanting to play that thing, and people would like buy it and tuck it in their closet and never touch it again. After the first couple of months of it, and they were down for a very long time. And like even when the Switch was announced, like it's not something that everybody was just like automatically like in favor of, but just to see them winning again is really good, because this has been said ad nauseum by a lot of people, but Nintendo doing good is good for everyone because they do something different. Microsoft and Sony, while great and better than Nintendo in certain ways, they can't match what Nintendo does as far as their library, and seeing them thriving again and not worrying about like, hey, will Nintendo even have another console? Because now they absolutely will have another console.
Oh, for sure. And Mario plus Rabbids a great mention there. That's a fantastic game. I don't even think it's a little game. I think it's a really solid title. I've seen some people, worry about the amount of hours available, but look, that thing has replayability, it has challenges, it has co-op, it's got an upcoming season pass. It is really great, and it's sort of the first big title from E3 to be released, and that's another point. They had a really strong E3 in a year that Sony didn't have anything this year. I mean, they had plenty of things for 2018, but pretty barren when it came to fall 2017, and then Xbox in a weird spot trying to, fill the hype wagon for Xbox One X, but not having any exclusives. I mean, at least Sony had Knack and Uncharted. Nintendo definitely came out strong. Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade 2, and we're hearing good things about every game. I think that's really maybe the most understated, obvious aspect of the Switch. The games that are there are good. Like, you can't deny that Breath of the Wild, Splatoon, and Mario Kart 8, and eventually Mario Odyssey, and Xenoblade 2 is receiving huge praise this weekend. They are filling this system with good games, and ultimately that is what should drive a successful console and a successful launch year, not gimmicks. And sure, the hybrid is a really interesting gimmick, and I think a lot of people love it for that, and we're seeing more and more third parties say, dude, we got to put our games on there. We've seen Capcom and EA and Ubisoft and 2K all become much more interested in, hey, we want to get stuff on the Switch. Bandai Namco showing a lot of support. What more can we put on the Switch? Because this is a platform that people want to play, but it's good to see solid indie titles. Of course, there's definitely some lame-os every so often, but really good indies, really good first party. From what we're hearing, the third-party stuff in the form of Skyrim, FIFA, and NBA is going to be a terrific trio. All three of them seem to be great ports. And so hopefully, like, all of the things we said, gosh, we wish that this will come together, we hope this comes together, I think in the second half of the Switch's first year, I think that's really going to all start taking shape.
Yeah, and in speaking of the second year, maybe we can talk a little bit about we each want to come up with one thing maybe that we want to see that isn't a game. Like, we're not talking about a game, just what we'd like to see improved going forward. Jake?
I'm going to speak for the masses and say that we want some Netflix on there. We want some other apps that we can have the Switch be the everything machine. So you can't, like I said, take it in your backpack and prop it up anywhere on have some movies or TV shows or whatever, Spotify, if some people want that on your Switch, so you can have it be kind of a replacement for like an iPad or iPod Touch or something that you would have before, especially for younger kids or people who don't have access to like a laptop or a bunch of other gaming systems.
Your YouTube is a big one that I know a lot of people really want on here.
Right.
Yeah. So.
I definitely want to see those multimedia apps hit, and I hope it's soon. We know that the Switch Online service isn't fully launched until early next year.
I think that best case scenario, that's when we see the first of it, I think.
I would hope.
Best case. I don't even think that's realistic, but, best case.
I would hope that maybe it's even a little earlier, but I'm going to go with the masses again and say that I think the Virtual Console is a huge missed opportunity, and we do not know yet how they're planning to implement it, but I feel like the longer time goes on without any mention, the more unlikely it becomes that it exists in the way we want to see it. If it's just a part of the online service in a rotating games library, I think that is going to go down bad with Nintendo fans. And they really don't have much ill will at all thus far. A couple, a couple shortcomings. The app for Splatoon 2, the voice chat, the SD card thing that could become a big issue if more and more games require that. But in general, they're sitting pretty with fans. Just omitting Virtual Console seems like such a foolish mistake that I hope they realize, and I hope that they do have plans. But we are going on 6 months now, and no Virtual Console. That is incredibly odd. If they do plan on eventually bringing it, I don't know that it happens.
I think it does. Just like with the multimedia app stuff, I think it happens. But my turn. I guess I'll go with something a little simpler that should also happen. Mine is a little bit of a cheat because it's like 2 things and maybe a little bit more. Just a quality of life update is what I want. I want to be able to preload games, especially now with bigger games that require SD cards. I want to be able to preload things. Also themes would be great. I'm tired of seeing just a black or a white screen. And voice chat is what it is for now, but some way of making that better would be fantastic. Even things as small as just music on the eShop would be great. Just a small quality of life update is something I would want. We're only 6 months in, so they have some time. Maybe they can still do something for the beginning of next year when they fully launch the online thing. But other than that, and the things you guys have mentioned, a lot of good has come from the Switch. So if they can just keep making small improvements, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I definitely think themes are one that we would really love to see. It's a small thing that is a really good gesture, especially since they are so big on differentiating your Switch via the Joy-Con, and there's so many people that are committed to custom making the backs of the Switch, custom making the Pro controllers, custom making all of the aspects, even the dock. And so being able to do that on a software level would be really great, and it would be a whole lot cheaper. So your Switch could have a little bit of its own charm, even if you don't want to dip, $80 into Joy-Con, or you don't want to dip $150 into a custom pair. That would be awesome, and it seems like a no-brainer. Again, multimedia apps, we know they're coming, no-brainer. It's just taking a while. Virtual Console, we hope it's coming, no-brainer, just taking a while. And then themes, some new icons. Gabe, like you mentioned, some of that quality of life stuff, no-brainers. Where is it? And I do wonder what Nintendo's roadmap is. If all of this is kind of, was the Switch a soft launch because they did want to push it out in March, and so some of these things just weren't ready? Do they have it specifically timed out to try and have things hit every so often, or are they still a little bit backwards when it comes to providing the features that most gamers want? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know, but they've regained some goodwill from a lot of us, and as long as they don't take that for granted like they have in the past, I think they'll be all right.
I think so as well. Are there any games specifically? I mean, it's probably a silly question. Mario Odyssey is kind of what we're all looking forward to. Anything specific you want to call out just in the second half of this Switch year here that you're really excited for?
Xenoblade.
Okay.
Yeah, really good word of mouth on that. Really loved the Xenoblade Chronicles X. I didn't play the original a whole lot. I would love to, but it's just so hard to find. At least for like a reasonable price. And Virtual Console isn't around, so it's not like I just go buy it on there. And it'll be really difficult for me to plug in my Wii U again to go figure out.
I mean, plus they're super long games, so I think saving some of that excitement for 2 is a really smart move, and that'll be another great moment because it'll add a big RPG to the system. And obviously we're going to get Skyrim as well, but I think those two will be really very different takes on the genre, but very good additions. And we're seeing the whole Switch flesh itself out. We're going to get some shooters. They're indie titles in Morphe's Law and Morphite. Odd that they have the same name. And we're getting sports, really heavy this month. We'll get our platformers of the Rayman Legends and with Mario. And I mean, I feel like if you invested early in the Switch, very often people feel burned. Like, oh, I spent, my money, my $300, $400 on a new console, and the first 6 months kind of, it was whatever. I was an early adopter. That's the price you pay. I feel like early adopters for Switch have had a pretty solid first 180 days.
Yeah, and some would say the best is yet to come. Jake is super into Mario Odyssey, and I'm sure that he can't wait for that. I mean, we're all excited for it, but Jake has been putting in work on that game for quite some time. So
I'm also excited for Floor Kids. I want to prove that the game is more than just a meme.
Yes,
And I wanna try Yono and the Celestial Elephants because I want to play Zelda as an elephant and blow fire out of my trunk.
You're just excited for floor kids because you are a floor kid. So
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's important that Nintendo keeps the AAA titles coming, both from themselves and from third parties. There has been, rumblings throughout the 6 months of like, oh, too many indies. And while I don't feel that's the case,
no such thing.
Right, we don't want it to run into the portable problem of like, oh, it's an indie machine. I think as long as they can keep major titles and physical releases coming, it's okay. Put as many indies as you want on there. I love the options. I love the flexibility of the system. And it's kind of in the name, right? Switch it up. Play an indie, play a AAA, play an online, play a local. Multiplayer, we know, is a huge part and a huge component. It seems like a lot of the indie games that are coming and a lot of the console games are really emphasizing that. So that'll be fun for the holidays, and it'll be interesting to check in at the end of the year and see where things are. Will Nintendo have any surprises left up their sleeve? What will the next Direct be? It's been a fantastic 6 months, and we'd love to hear your experiences, either your favorite Switch moments, your favorite games, things you think they need to improve, things that surprised you, things that impressed you. Do you guys have like a one go-to favorite Switch moment that we can close this video out with?
One go-to favorite Switch moment? The airplane thing I already talked about.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Jake?
Does unboxing it count? The unboxing race that we had? That was pretty epic.
That was fun. You cheated.
I did not cheat. Don't even try to bring that up.
No, you did not cheat. I just like to say you did because I lost.
Okay. Every Switch moment I feel like has its own little magic to it, so
I've got a couple just real quick. One, the first time I played Breath of the Wild in New York, and just that first ever transition of switching it from the TV to the portable was brilliant. I really liked purchasing gear on the phone app for Splatoon 2 and then going and getting my Switch and buying it. Something about that just felt really cool. And even though it's a long time forgotten now, and we didn't even mention it in this video, which is maybe telling, but doing some of the co-op stuff and snipper clips with you guys was so much fun.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, that stuff is probably my favorite thing too. It's just that it's hard to mention everything because so much has happened. And I was keeping it more to me, but yeah, the co-op stuff and snipper clips was fantastic. I still love that game to death.
Absolutely. So let us know what you have loved about these 6 months, and we hope you enjoyed our check-in. I think it's really impressive. I still want to see a little bit more from some aspects, but all in all, like a super successful 6 months and probably one of the best and coolest console launches in my lifetime, which has included every console launch since the NES. So that is going to do it for our 6 month retrospective. Let us know your take. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Here's to 6 more months, 6 more years of Switch.
Well,
Switch Force.
We're not going to have 6 more years of the Switch.
6 more years of Switch. 6 more years. 6 more years. Go for a third term, Switch. You can do it. Until next time, everybody. For myself, Jake, and Gabe, Switch Force out.